All right, here's one that I find interesting as well. Eric Mangini, the Mangenius, coached in the NFL from 95 through 2015. He was part of 3 Super Bowl championship teams. He was the AFC Coach of the Year in 2006, and he actually spent time with the Niners, 3 seasons, including 2015 as the team's defensive coordinator. And I think one of those years he was an offensive consultant. And he's now an analyst with the 33rd team. And he believes the Niners should find a way to use Trey Lance. This is the quote from Mangenius. He says, "In my mind, Trey's got as much opportunity as either of the other two guys to play and play a lot this season. And even if he's not the starter, why not take advantage of the skill set that he did show in college? His ability to run with the ball, his ability to make plays with his feet. Put a package in for him with the idea that he can contribute in a meaningful way to the offense. He can be another element that teams have to prepare for. And then if he does have to go in a game as a starter at some point, he's got some experience, so he's not going in cold. It seems like that's the way that makes sense. I understand you may not want to ruffle Brock Purdy's feathers, but we're not talking about a 10-year vet here." What do you think? I mean, this, the Niners tried this with Trey Lance during his rookie year in 2021. They inserted him into a couple key games and key scenarios to try to, maybe throw off the defense. He played 178 snaps in 2021. He even started a couple games, but the veterans pushed back on that. And we're like, hey, look, if Jimmy's going to drive us to the 5 and then he's trotting off the field and here comes Lance, I think they viewed it as a slap in the face. And the quarterback position is not just, you're not just a guy on the field, you're the leader. And it's like taking a jockey off the horse coming down the stretch. You just don't do that in the Derby, right? You don't get to the top of the stretch and off goes, Russell Bays, and here comes, Johnny Velasquez, Johnny whatever. What do you think? I mean, in a way, he's basically saying the Niners ought to use Trey Lance the way the Saints have utilized Taysom Hill. Do you see any credence in that argument, or does it bring up more questions than it answers?
No, it's like you said. They did this in 2021, and in 2021, what we heard from Kyle Shanahan was it made calling the game harder for him because when Trey Lance would go onto the field, the defense was reacting in a different way than what they were getting with their starter, and so it was kind of throwing off the play calling rhythm. They put him in, the defense would kind of adjust a little bit, and so they weren't getting the same looks that they were getting. So, and there's also the part like you said with the veterans, going and complaining about it a little bit. And I remember we all asked the question after question to Kyle Shanahan that offseason and to the players, about this whole dual quarterback system, having 2 quarterbacks and the impact that it has on the players or on the coach. And I could see if there's a possibility. I mean, here's the thing. You look at it and you look at last season, the 49ers were scoring in bunches when Brock Purdy was on the field. It doesn't make sense to me if you're putting up 33 points a game with one quarterback that you all of a sudden need to use 2. I just don't see that as being the case. You play, where you do that is if all of a sudden the starter isn't effective in a certain area, if there's a certain area that he's maybe struggling in, then it makes sense, and like Micah says here, and this isn't against Trey Lance. I agree with this. The 2 quarterback system's a joke. I just don't think it works. I don't think there's ever been a team that's won a Super Bowl using the 2 quarterback system on a regular basis, like rotating guys in and out. I know, yes, you can. Yeah, the older guys in the audience can point to the Miami Dolphins back in like 1972. I think they did it a little bit with Bob Greasy and I think it was Earl Morrall that season. But I mean, come on, the 2 quarterback system really doesn't work if you're going to be a high level Super Bowl team. I just don't see that playing out.